My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. Now, I'd say that this is just the moment that I decide, since I kind of did so much the last time around on those Santas that were from the genuine and African mahoganies, that I'd come around and kind of do a little bit on these ones that are from walnut, kind of repeat some similar steps that I already kind of did on the others, and just sort of, I'd say, take the steps as they come and go. And for all things, I say that, you know, there's a few other knives I kind of sharpened here. Probably forgot to keep this one sharp enough, but it's probably, I'd say, the best one that I have. And I'd say that we're trying to get it just in its own shape, but I'll show you here just what I do. It's like there were certain steps we kind of took before that were right around the hood and getting rid of all this excess wood from around the hood that we probably for all that time didn't always need, and kind of get it where we're just kind of putting things aside and away just to work a little problem out of our mind, heart, and soul. And for all these little things I say, it's like there's just kind of like one little step we kind of got to take around here just to get rid of all these little saw marks, like the one we kind of got here between the hood and the shoulder, and have more to get rid of as we move along, go along, try to see how this is going to make old St. Nicholas turn out so much for the good and the better. I say, oh, just time when we kind of work little ways along and kind of make it so we got little times that we work in ways that don't always reflect us in every way, but make the better people of us and make the better lives of us. So I come on just today taking little steps, and I say that, you know, there were the years I kind of had the little Santas that I kind of carved from the cherry wood, and we may not have those back this year, but we kind of take the woods we have, and I'd say that cherry is good for carving, but it hadn't always been one of my favorites to carve. I'd say that, you know, just depending on how strong your hands are, some people think that walnut is harder than cherry, but I kind of think of it the other way around, you know. I think that walnut to me is fairly simple to carve, but I tell you, there's been other woods I've tried to carve before, and they could probably be a little bit harder on my hands. I've tried to do maple before and oak and some of them, they'd be a little bit harder to do. And even for little St. Nicholas figures like these, I have one that I carved out of elm and one that I carved out of locust, but those ones I pretty much, I'd say, keep to myself. I don't try to sell them. I just like them too much because they were ones that I just kind of carved out of my own little adventurous soul. And you know, those were harder woods. I mean, elm is just a really long grained wood, so that makes it a little harder to carve. And I'd probably also say that the same could be true. I mean, locust, on the other hand, is just a dense wood. That's what makes it a little harder to carve. But I've always heard it say people kind of know what good carving woods are. I've even had some apple wood before that I've carved one of these Santa figures from, but the piece that it was, I'd say it came off of a tree in a yard and it had a crack in it, so it didn't turn out as one of the best ones, I'd say. And to that matter, would probably also say that I kind of took some old sycamore that I picked up off the road a time or two and used it to try to carve one of these Santas one time, and I'd say it probably didn't turn out too good either. That sycamore was just some green wood, some fresh wood, and it kind of just happened that for the way it was, it probably wasn't all that prepared to be carved. And I mean, I'd say it's probably not the best thing for detailed things like this, but I know that people take sycamore and they use it to carve bowls and spoons and things like that. Probably in my life I've carved a few bowls and a few spoons, but they weren't the kinds of things I'd say I really had all that much pleasure in carving. Some people find it very rewarding to carve things that are just a lot harder to do, like bowls and spoons, where you just kind of really have to dig out a hole with the tools, but I'm not a fan of that. And you know, you just kind of have to use those curvy knives and curvy gouges to do that kind of work. Wouldn't say that's so much my thing, because I'd just rather have my own creative things to make, like people and animals and things like that I'd rather make. I say that this is just a little chip of the wood that might come a little looser here and there, but we kind of got the little place where we kind of got the wood a little chip worthy, like I say, kind of make it so we got a way to carve along lines. And oh heck, to this biz, I say, it's just, oh, work, I tell y'all. Time in life when we just kind of know what things are and how we do about them, I'd say. And you know, it's like there comes times when realities must be accepted, and I say that, you know, I've kind of gotten requests before. Some of the things people have given me cedar before and tried to have me to carve from it. They were kind of some harder things to make, I'd say, but I tell y'all that there's probably been little guinea pigs and hamsters and things like that I've made from cedar before. They were just kind of very small and durable and simple to carve in life, and I say that this was just a step or two that I took. It's something just to try to make a little step-worthy thing just turn out like Santa Claus does. And we know St. Nicholas is always on the merge all the time. He's always out there delivering toys to children, and you know, if it's only around Christmas time that he does that, it could probably make you wonder what he does the rest of the year. Maybe kind of keep elves in his factory all year, making toys throughout the year, something like that. So I say little ways to work about things, I say. And over the years when there was all this stuff about COVID and coronavirus, and kids wondering if he was going to come down their chimney, you know, and bring gifts, and you know, there was just so much good little stuff that Dr. Fauci came on and said just to try to cheer children up. First of all, say Santa is immune to COVID, and then later on he said that he already gave Santa the vaccine. And so I say that vaccines do us a little good now and then, but I tell y'all that some things we have to try not to get too frequently, because it was just last winter I had a flu vaccine, and know that with all that comes about that, could just be a little thing where, you know, you just don't get the COVID vaccine too soon after getting the flu vaccine. Kind of like at first they gave you COVID in a series, and there were just different side effects that different shots had. I say that there's just kind of this work that kind of comes this way to make our Santa just have a little character to do in him. And I say with all this stuff, kind of trim along, get rid of a lot of stuff that's not all that much needed, I say, and kind of take it so it's going to be just kind of how that old Father Niklaas was the saint. I always heard the stories about him. I always enjoyed reading them. Think about that old priest, that the parish priest, that is, that became the bishop, and the bishop became the legend by which Santa Claus was based. I'd say that there's probably a little time we have left here, so kind of got to give my hands some rest and probably not say too much or do too much. So I'm going to come on here just to say a few last words before I end, and maybe work on this other one when we do the next video. But I thank you all so much for coming on and watching and hearing what I have to say, seeing what I do, and keep in touch always. God bless. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.